I kept telling myself life was finally steady, but I guess I was lying. When Emily and I drove to her parents' house that evening, I felt relaxed. I even joked, maybe your mom will finally stop asking about the wedding cake. Emily laughed lightly, but something about her smile felt thin. I brushed it off and said, "Hey, we're getting married. Nothing can ruin this, right?" She squeezed my hand and whispered, "Right," but the word didn't sound full. When we entered the dining room, her mom greeted us with her usual bright voice. "Ethan, you look tired. Work again." I nodded and said, "Just a long week." Emily's dad patted my shoulder and said, "You'll survive. Marriage will be even more work." Everyone laughed except Emily. She kept glancing toward the hallway, like she was expecting something. During dinner, I tried to pull her back into the moment. "You okay?" I whispered. She nodded too fast. "Yeah, just thinking." I wanted to push, but her parents were talking about venues. Her mom said, "Emily wants the garden theme," and I replied, "She'll make it perfect." Emily barely reacted. Then the doorbell rang. Emily froze. Her fork slipped from her fingers and clattered on the plate. I stared at her. "Em." She didn't answer. Her mom said, "I'll get it," but Emily jumped up. "No, I'll go." She rushed out so fast the chair scraped loudly. I looked at her dad. He raised a brow like he'd never seen her move like that. After a moment, we heard voices. A man's voice. Calm, confident, too familiar for someone I'd never heard about. Emily's voice trembled. "Why are you here?" The man chuckled softly. "You know why." Something in my stomach twisted. I stood up, but her dad gestured for me to wait. I couldn't. I stepped into the hallway just as Emily turned around. Her eyes widened when she saw me. Behind her stood a tall guy with a smirk that instantly irritated me. I said, "Who's this?" Emily's lips pressed together. "Ethan, this is Aaron." He stretched out a hand. "Aaron Blake. Old friend. Old friend." The words scraped at me. Emily looked like someone had unplugged her soul. I didn't shake his hand. "Emily never mentioned you." Aaron shrugged. "Life gets busy, but some connections stay strong." Emily whispered, "Aaron, stop." He smirked like he enjoyed the tension. "Relax. I just came to say hello." I stepped closer. "You don't just show up at someone's parents' house to say hello." He leaned slightly toward me. "Maybe I missed a place. Maybe I missed something else." Emily grabbed his arm. "Aaron, please." She looked scared, and that scared me more than him showing up. Her mom came out with a confused smile. "Oh, Aaron, it's been years. Years. Not months. Not recent. Years." And still Emily reacted like he was a ghost she wasn't ready to see. I said quietly, "Emily, can we talk?" She shook her head. "Not now. Please, Ethan, not here." Aaron chuckled. "Wow, he doesn't even know, does he?" My chest tightened. "Know what?" Emily snapped. "Aaron, stop talking." Her mom stepped between us. "Everyone, please. Eat first, talk later." We all sat at the table again, but Emily and Aaron kept exchanging looks. Hers full of panic, his full of something like triumph. My hand shook under the table. I asked Emily softly, "Why didn't you tell me about him?" She didn't answer. She kept staring at her plate like it might save her. Aaron leaned back and said, "So, you two are getting married?" "Big step." Emily whispered, "Please stop." I finally said, "Emily, look at me." She raised her eyes slowly. They were full of fear, guilt, something I couldn't name. "Is he here because you invited him?" She shook her head, but the hesitation before she did it hit me harder than anything else. The night dragged on painfully. When we finally left, I didn't speak. Emily whispered, "Ethan, I'm sorry." I said nothing. Something cold had already settled inside me. I stared out the window the drive home, feeling like the world had shifted in a way I couldn't undo. I noticed the change the next morning when Emily smiled at her phone like it held a secret I wasn't part of. I said, "Who's that?" And she answered, "Just work," without looking up. The way her voice tightened told me it wasn't the truth. Later, when her phone rang again, she stepped outside. I followed her to the door and asked, "Why can't you talk in front of me?" She whispered, "I'm stressed, Ethan. Please don't start." That hurt more than if she had shouted. I said, "I'm not starting anything. I'm worried." She nodded but kept the phone close to her chest like she was protecting it from me. I walked away before I said something I'd regret. That afternoon I met Liam at a small cafe. He took one look at me and said, "You look like trash." I muttered, "Thanks," and dropped into the chair. He leaned forward. "Tell me what's going on." I told him, "Emily's acting strange. She's hiding calls." Liam sighed. "You want the truth or something soft?" I said truth. He replied, "Something's off. You need to talk to her." When I got home, Emily was sitting on the couch staring at the floor. I sat beside her and asked, "Are we okay?" She whispered, "I'm just tired." I said, "Stop saying that. Something is wrong." She stood up and said, "I don't want to argue." Then she went to the bedroom and closed the door. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her breathing sounded uneven, like she was trying not to cry. I whispered, "Emily, talk to me." She stayed silent. I reached out, but stopped when she turned away. The next day, I heard her talking softly on the phone in the hallway. I moved closer, even though I hated myself for it. She said, "I don't know what to do, he's back." My heart sank so fast it hurt. I stepped into the hallway and asked, "Who are you talking about?" She jumped and hung up. "No one," she said quickly. I replied, "Don't lie to me." She shook her head. "I can't do this right now." Then she rushed past me. Liam called and said, "Did you talk to her?" I told him everything. He said, "Ethan, this isn't nothing. You need to pay attention." I hated that he was right. I felt my stomach twist. That night, I pretended to sleep again. Emily slipped into bed and turned away from me. Her shoulders shook. I whispered, "Emily, please." She covered her mouth to hide a sob. I didn't touch her. I just lay there, feeling like a stranger beside the woman I loved. I lay awake for hours replaying every change, every quiet moment, every glance she avoided. When the clock hit 3, I whispered, "What are you hiding from me?" The room stayed still, like it didn't want to tell me either. In the morning, she made coffee without speaking. I asked, "Are we going to talk about yesterday?" She said, "There's nothing to talk about." I almost laughed. "Then why do you look scared every time your phone rings?" She froze but said nothing. Liam met me again later and said, "You're spiraling. You need answers." I told him she won't talk. He replied, "Then something's really wrong." I hated how right he sounded. When I went home that night, Emily was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands. I asked softly, "Do you still want us?" She closed her eyes and whispered, "I don't know." Those 3 words knocked the air out of me. I sat beside her and said, "Tell me if you're leaving. Don't let me drown in guesses." She wiped her eyes and said, "I'm not leaving. I just don't know what to do." I whispered, "Is this because of him?" She flinched like the word burned. I said, "Emily, look at me." She didn't. "If he's back in your life, I deserve to know." She whispered, "I never wanted this." I asked, "Then why does it feel like you're slipping away from me?" She shook her head, unable to answer. I felt everything breaking inside me tonight. I woke up to the vibration of Emily's phone buzzing beside me. I reached out to check the time, but before I could even pull my hand back, a message preview appeared on her screen. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't open anything. I just saw it. "I miss you, we were real. Aaron." My breath stopped. I whispered, "No, no, no." My heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. When Emily walked into the room, drying her hair with a towel, I held up her phone and said, "Explain this." She froze. "Ethan," I stood up. "He misses you? You two were real? What does that mean?" She shook her head and whispered, "I'm confused." I shouted, "Confused about what?" "Us." Tears filled her eyes. I need time to think." I stepped back like she'd hit me. "Time? We're getting married in 4 months." She wiped her cheeks. "I'm not saying I don't love you. Everything feels heavy." I whispered, "So heavy you need him?" She whispered back, "I didn't want him to come back." I said, "But you didn't push him away either." She covered her face and said, "I don't know what I'm doing." Then she said the words that almost knocked me to my knees. "Maybe we should pause the wedding planning." I stared at her. "Pause?" She sobbed. "I don't want to hurt you." I whispered, "But you are." I left before I said something unforgivable. I called Liam the moment I got outside. "She wants to pause the wedding," I said. He cursed loudly. "Ethan, this is bad. Really bad." I sat in the car, gripping the wheel. I saw a message from him. Liam's voice hardened. "You need proof. If she's lying, you deserve to know." I didn't want proof. I wanted this nightmare to stop. But part of me knew he was right. What do I even do? He said, "Talk to Maya. She's good with this stuff." At work, Maya noticed my expression before I even reached my desk. Ethan, you look awful. What happened? I hesitated. I need help, something with a phone. She raised a brow. Are you asking me to hack something? I shook my head quickly. No, just recovered deleted messages. From my fiancée's phone. She leaned back. Ethan, are you sure you want to see what's hidden? I whispered. I don't think I can live without knowing. After a long pause, she nodded. Okay, but you didn't hear this skill from me. We sat in a small back office. I handed her a backup file I'd found on Emily's laptop. My hand shook the whole time. Maya connected everything and said, if there's anything recoverable, it'll show here. Every second felt like a punch to my chest. Finally, she whispered, I found deleted chats. My stomach dropped. Read them, I said, my voice barely holding. She scrolled slowly, her face tightening. Ethan, maybe you shouldn't. I reached for the screen. Show me. I read the first deleted message from Aaron. I can't stop thinking about you. The second one was from Emily. I shouldn't be talking to you, but I can't ignore everything. My vision blurred. I whispered, no, please no. Maya put a hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry. I scroll more, each line tearing something inside me. I don't know what to do. You know how we were. It felt real back then. I don't want to hurt him. I whispered. She said that to him, not me. Maya said softly, Ethan, maybe talk to her before assuming the worst. I shook my head. She told him she didn't want to hurt me, but she kept talking to him. That is the worst. Maya sighed. Do you want copies? I whispered, yeah. Send them. She hesitated again. I'm sorry you're going through this. I nodded, unable to speak. When I got back to my car, I just sat there, phone in my hand, staring at the recovered messages. My chest felt tight, like my ribs were closing in on my heart. I whispered to myself, why didn't you tell me, Emily? I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to pretend I never saw any of it. Instead, I just sat there, feeling my world crack one quiet line at a time. I stared at the recovered messages until the words blurred. Sometimes I wonder if I made the wrong choice. My chest tightened so hard I thought something inside me had cracked. Liam whispered, man, this is worse than I thought. I could barely answer. I don't know what to say. I muttered, gripping my phone like it might steady me. But nothing felt steady anymore. That night, I told myself I'd stop thinking, but my mind kept replaying the chats. She met him, I whispered into the dark. More than once. My voice sounded foreign, almost hollow. Morning felt no different. I saw Emily slip on her coat. Running errands? I asked, trying to sound normal. Yeah, just a few things, she said quickly, avoiding my eyes. Something inside me twisted. Liam's voice echoed in my head. If you want answers, go get them. So I followed her. I kept my distance as she walked into the small cafe on Riverside. I pressed myself against the brick wall near the window, and when I peeked inside, my breath stopped. Aaron was already there. Emily walked straight to him. He stood, opened his arms, and she hugged him like she'd been waiting for him. I felt the world tilt. No, no way, I whispered, gripping the wall. My knees almost buckled. I wanted to storm inside, scream, break something, anything. But I froze. I just watched them talk, laugh softly, sit close. My hands shook so violently, I had to shove them into my pockets. I couldn't remember the walk home. When Emily came back later, she smiled faintly. You're home early, she said. I pretended to scroll through my phone. Yeah, slow day. My voice felt like a mask stretched tight over something broken. She moved around the kitchen, humming, completely unaware. I stared at her hands, the same ones that had just held him. I felt like a stranger in my own life. Liam called. Did you get anything? He asked. I swallowed hard. I saw her. With him. Silence filled the line. Then he said, you need to walk away before this destroys you. I leaned against the counter. I can't. Not yet. I need to hear it from her. He sighed. Then be ready. It's gonna hurt. Late that night, when Emily came into the bedroom, I sat up. We need to talk, I said. She stiffened. About what? I took a breath that felt like lifting something heavy. About you and Aaron. Her eyes widened. What do you mean? I held her gaze. I know you met him. I know about the messages. I know you wrote you might have made the wrong choice. Her face crumpled instantly. I didn't want you to see that, she whispered. Then why did you write it? I asked. My voice cracked despite me trying to stay calm. She sank onto the edge of the bed. Because I'm confused, she whispered. I thought I was over him. But when he came back, everything I buried just came up again. My chest felt like it was tearing open. So what about us? Were we just something to fill the space? She shook her head desperately. No, I care about you. I don't want to hurt you. Those words hit harder than anything else. I stared at her through a sting of cold disbelief. But you already did, I said quietly. She covered her face. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to do. Liam's voice echoed again. Be ready. It's gonna hurt. And it did. More than I imagined. I lay back slowly. I watched my future fall apart today. I whispered. Emily froze. What do you mean? I looked straight at her. I saw you hugging him. At the cafe. She inhaled sharply. You were there? I nodded. I was. The silence that followed felt like a final blow. She whispered, I still have feelings for him. My heart dropped. But I don't want to hurt you. That was the moment everything inside me finally cracked. I nodded slowly, feeling the weight settle inside me. I whispered, You already have. Knowing the truth was out, even if it shattered, I believed. I sat on the edge of Liam's couch, staring at the packed duffel bag on the floor. She wants space, I whispered. Space to figure things out. The words tasted bitter. Liam handed me a glass of water. Man, that's brutal, he said. But you couldn't stay there after that. I rubbed my forehead. I feel humiliated. Like I'm some backup option waiting on a shelf. He shook his head. You're not anyone's backup. A knock on the door interrupted us. Ava stepped inside before I could get up. You look wrecked, she said. I sighed. Thanks. She sat beside me. Start talking. I swallowed hard. Emily said she needs time. She said she's confused. Ava scoffed. Confused isn't an excuse to treat you like this. I whispered. I still want her back. Ava looked at me gently. And I get that. But wanting someone doesn't mean you let them walk all over you. I stared at my hands. I don't know what to do. Liam walked over. Which is why I set up someone for you to talk to. I frowned. A therapist? Yeah, he said. Dr. Rowan. Chill guy. You need clarity. I hesitated, but agreed. The next afternoon, I sat across from Dr. Rowan in his quiet office. He spoke calmly. Tell me what's happening. I took a shaky breath. My fiancée asked for space. She's been talking to her ex. She still has feelings for him. He nodded. And what do you feel? I laughed bitterly. Like I'm drowning. He leaned forward. You can want her and still choose yourself. Those aren't opposites. I whispered, but it feels like losing. He shook his head. Staying where you're unloved is the real loss. Those words hit deep. I felt something inside me shift. Are you saying she never chose me? He answered gently. I'm saying you deserve someone who chooses you fully. When I left his office, the air felt heavier but clearer. Liam picked me up. So, he asked. I exhaled slowly. He made me realize I've been fighting for someone who hasn't been fighting for me. Liam nodded. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Back at his place, I found Ava waiting. How'd it go? She asked. It helped, I said. For the first time, I see it. She's never really chosen me. Ava squeezed my arm. Then choose yourself. Please. I paced the room. I don't know if I'm strong enough to let go. Liam said, You are. You just need to accept that the future you imagined isn't the one you're meant to live. I cover my face. It hurts so much. Ava pulled me into a hug. Pain doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're human. I sat down and stared at my phone for a long time. If I talk to her, it might be the end. Liam replied, Maybe, but you deserve answers. And closure. My fingers trembled as I typed. We should talk. I hovered over the send button, my heart pounding. Ava whispered, Whatever happens, we're here. I hit send. My voice shook as I said, I think this is the choice I didn't want to make. Emily replied a minute later. Okay. Tonight. My stomach twisted. Liam looked at me. You ready? I whispered, No, but I need the truth. Ava said, You're not alone. The waiting felt long. I kept replaying our memories, wondering where everything shifted. Liam asked, What will you tell her? I said, That I loved her, but I can't stay in a place where I'm not chosen. Ava nodded. Good. Be honest with her and with yourself. As evening neared, fear crawled up my spine. What if she wants more time? I asked. Dr. Rowan's voice echoed in my head. Choose yourself. Then I'll say no, I murmured. The words shook, but they felt right. When I stood to leave, Liam squeezed my shoulder. You'll be okay. Ava added, we've got you. I breathed in. Thank you. Outside, the air stung my face. I looked at the sky and whispered, please let me be strong. Whatever waited for me, I knew this moment was the first step towards something real. I stood at her doorway, my palms sweating despite the cold air. Emily opened the door with red eyes. You came, she whispered. I nodded, but didn't step inside until she moved back. We need to talk, I said. She wiped her face. I know. I've been waiting. I took a breath. So talk. She looked down. Aaron, he's gone. I didn't respond. She continued, voice shaking. He used me. He said he wanted to fix things, but he just needed comfort while he figured out his life. I stared at her silently. She whispered, he left yesterday. I kept my voice steady. And now you want me back? Emily swallowed. I want us back. I want what we had. I know I messed up. My chest tightened, but not with hope. Why didn't you tell me sooner? She closed her eyes. I was scared. I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling. I sat on the couch slowly. Then explain it now. She sat across from me, knees trembling. I thought I needed closure. I thought seeing him would help me understand my past. I exhaled sharply. You didn't just see him. You hid it. You whispered to him while lying next to me. Her lips quivered. I didn't mean to hurt you. I leaned forward. Then why did you? She covered her mouth. Because I was confused. I shook my head. Confused people don't send messages saying they miss someone else. Her eyes widened. You saw those. My jaw tightened. I saw everything. She froze. Everything. I nodded. Every deleted chat. Every meeting. Every call. She stared at me, horrified. Ow, I whispered. You should worry less about how and more about why. Emily slid off the couch and knelt in front of me. Ethan, please. I'm so sorry. I instinctively pulled my legs back. Get up, I said. You don't need to do that. She shook her head desperately. No, I hurt you. I lied. I betrayed you. But I love you. I never stopped loving you. Her words fell hollow. Love without loyalty is nothing, I said. She cried harder. I know I failed. I didn't reach for her. I didn't wipe her tears. I just watched her fall apart. She whispered, please don't leave. I was confused, but I'm not anymore. I felt something shift inside me, like a door closing for good. Emily, I said quietly, you didn't choose me when it mattered. She collapsed forward, hands pressed against the floor. I made a mistake. A stupid, selfish mistake. I thought I needed to revisit my past, and I didn't realize I was destroying my future. I stood up slowly. Your regret came too late. She clung to my wrist. Please, we can fix this. I looked at her fingers wrapped around me. You had chances. So many. Her voice cracked. I swear I'll do anything. I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. I'll prove I love you. I whispered. You should have proven it before you broke me. She sobbed loudly, the sound echoing off the walls. Don't walk away from us. I replied. There is no us anymore. She grabbed my sleeve, begging, you're the one I want. You're the one I choose. I pulled free gently. But I'm not the same person who kept choosing you. She looked up at me, mascara smeared. Ethan, I'm begging you. I inhaled shakily. You begged for him too, didn't you? Just in different words. She covered her face again, and her shoulders shook violently. I was lost, she whispered. I didn't know what I wanted. I replied, and now I know what I deserve. Her voice broke. Please don't leave me alone. I stepped back. You left me alone long before tonight. I walked toward the door. She crawled after me on her knees. Ethan, please. I opened the door slowly. She grabbed my ankle. Don't go. I gently moved her hand away. Goodbye, Emily. As I stepped outside, the cold air hit me like a wave. My hands trembled, but my chest felt strangely steady. For the first time in weeks, it felt like I could breathe. My heart hurt, but the pain didn't control me anymore. I whispered to myself, it's over, and walked away without looking back. The morning after I left Emily's house, my phone buzzed nonstop. Liam called first. You okay? He asked. I stared at the wall. I'm breathing. That's something. He sighed. People are talking. Ava told Mom. She's furious at Emily. I rub my eyes. I don't want anyone attacking her. Liam paused. After what she did, I whispered, I'm too tired to hate her. At work, Maya walked over to my desk. Heard things got rough, she said gently. I nodded. Yeah. She pulled up a chair. You look like a zombie. I managed a weak smile. Feels accurate. She rested her arms on her knees. If you need to talk, I'm here. I shook my head. I'm trying to focus on getting through the day. During lunch, Liam texted, Therapy today? I typed back, yeah, I'll go. I needed something stable. When I entered Dr. Rowan's office, he gave a small nod. Rough week. I sank into the chair. I walked away. She begged, but I walked away. He replied softly, How do you feel about that choice? I stare at my hands. Strangely calm. Hurting, but calm. He nodded. Pain fades when you accept truth. I took a breath. I'm trying. After the session, Ava called. Ethan, everyone knows now. They're blaming her. I sighed. Tell them not to. She hesitated. Why protect her? I whispered, because dragging her down won't lift me up. Ava softened. Okay, I'll try to cool everyone off. Days passed. I returned to work properly, forcing myself into routine. Maya stopped by often. Drink water, she said one afternoon, handing me a bottle. I chuckled. You're acting like my babysitter. She smirked. Someone has to stop you from turning into a ghost. I replied, I'm trying not to. Later that week, Liam and I grabbed dinner. He tapped his fork on the table. You ever think about starting fresh? I raised an eyebrow. Fresh how? He shrugged. New hobbies, new places, maybe new people. I leaned back. I'm not ready for all that. Liam nodded. I get it, but you're moving, even if you don't notice. I whispered, feels slow. He smiled. Healing usually is. One evening, as I left work, I saw Emily standing near my car. My stomach tightened. What are you doing here? I asked. Her voice shook. I just wanted to talk. I kept my distance. There's nothing left to say. She stepped forward. Please, just listen. I sighed. Fine. 2 minutes. She twisted her fingers nervously. I regret everything. I wake up every day wishing I could undo it. I looked away. Regret doesn't erase choices. She whispered, I was stupid. I let fear and nostalgia ruin us. I answered quietly, You didn't ruin us, Emily. You ruined yourself. She winced. I deserve that. I crossed my arms. Why now? She swallowed. Aaron's gone. He lost his job. He left town again. I realized I threw away something real for someone who only cared when he needed comfort. I stared at her. That's not my problem anymore. Her eyes filled. Ethan, please don't say that. I felt a familiar ache, but it didn't consume me. What do you want from me? She whispered, a chance. Just one. I shook my head slowly. No, she stepped closer. Is there someone else? I frowned. This isn't about someone else. It's about me. She wiped her cheeks. I miss you. I closed my eyes briefly. Missing me doesn't fix anything. She whispered, Can't you see I'm hurting too? I opened my eyes. Pain changes people. Emily, I'm not who I was. She covered her mouth as tears spilled again. I never meant to destroy you. I replied, You didn't destroy me. You forced me to rebuild. She sobbed softly. Can we at least stay in each other's lives? I shook my head. Not now. Maybe not ever. Her shoulders slumped. I deserve that. I didn't answer. After a moment, she whispered, Goodbye, Ethan. I nodded. Goodbye. She turned and walked away slowly, her figure shrinking with every step. As I unlocked my car, my hands trembled, but my heart stayed steady. The world didn't pause for my pain. It kept moving, and somehow, so was I. I whispered to myself, I'm getting there, and drove into the quiet evening, letting the road carry me forward. Months passed, and I began noticing the small changes first. I could get through a day without waking up in a haze. Liam teased me the other day. You're smiling again, he said. I shrugged, hiding the truth. Maybe. He laughed. Don't lie. You're lighter somehow. I nodded. I guess I'm trying. Maya popped in my office one afternoon with 2 coffees. You okay? She asked. I took the cup. Better. Slowly, but better. She smiled. Good. You deserve some peace. I laughed softly. Feels strange saying that. She shook her head. It should feel normal, not strange. You've earned it. Ava stopped by too. I saw you jogging this morning, she said. Didn't think you'd stick with it. I grinned. Needed something to remind me I'm still me. She nudged me. That's exactly why you should keep going. I nodded, sipping my coffee. One evening, as I walked through the park, my phone buzzed. Emily's name flashed on the screen. My stomach twisted, but I answered. Ethan. Her voice was soft. I wanted to see you. One last time. I paused. Why now? She sighed. To apologize. Properly. Not for us to go back. Just closure. I looked out over the pond. I'm listening. She hesitated. I never meant to hurt you the way I did. I made choices I regret, and I lost the one person I truly loved. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I kept my voice calm. Thank you for saying that. She sniffled. I understand if you can't forgive me. I smiled faintly. I'm forgiving you. Not for you, for me. I can't hold this inside anymore. She whispered, I don't deserve that. I shook my head. You don't. But I do deserve peace. A small silence settled between us. I could hear the distant laughter of children and the soft rustle of leaves. I wish you well, I said. Truly. She sniffled again. And I wish you the same, Ethan. I nodded. Our story, it's over. Her voice cracked slightly. I understand. I offered a small smile. Take care of yourself, Emily. She hesitated, then whispered goodbye. I said the same, and she walked away. I watched until she disappeared from view, a strange weight lifting from my chest. For the first time in months, I breathed freely. The memories that once clawed at me were no longer chains. They were lessons. I realized I had survived the worst of my own heartbreak. I had grown stronger, calmer, and clearer. I had chosen myself. Liam called that night. How was it? He asked. I leaned back on my bed. Peaceful. Better than I expected. He laughed softly. Finally letting go. I nodded. Yeah, finally. I thought about the past, the betrayal, the lies, the pain, and then I let it drift away. I didn't need to cling to it anymore. It didn't define me. I was more than heartbreak, more than loss, more than Emily. I was me, fully for the first time in so long. The next morning, I met Maya and Ava for breakfast. We laughed over pancakes and coffee. Small victories, I realized, were easier to notice when the chest pain didn't weigh me down. Feels good to smile, I told them. Maya winked. About time. Ava nudged me. You've earned this. I walked home afterward, feeling the crisp air against my face. The world didn't stop for me to heal. It had moved on, but now I was moving too in my own rhythm. The sun reflected off the buildings, and the city hummed with life. I felt it all, pain, growth, hope all at once. And I knew I'd finally let go. I whispered to myself, the past doesn't control me anymore. My steps were lighter, my heart steadier. I had survived. I had changed. And for the first time in a long time, I felt the world open again. Maybe love would come again someday. But this time, I would choose myself first.